Have you ever covered a fondant cake and the bottom was not well covered as well as the top? Or you were covering a fondant cake and then the fondant was not enough and like you have an old patch of cake to cover? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I fix those problems. Regardless of how like good you are at fondant making, yeah, or cake making, or how much you've made it, how long you've decorated cakes for. Sometimes you meet some of these things, and I'm going to show you how to fix it so it doesn't even look like you had that problem when your cake is done. So normally I don't really make tutorial videos anymore because I find them quite tiring. Yeah, because they're a lot of work actually, and I've made over 500 tutorial videos on this channel. But I get a lot of these questions, especially about fondant, so I'm just making this one for you guys. So you're welcome. So let's get watching, right? So at intervals, I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm doing. Yeah. To notice that at this point I just covered my cake in fondant, and I kind of realized that my fondant was too small. I kind of rolled a little bit too little, or whatever the case is, or maybe you had too little fondant. So at this point it didn't wrap completely, so I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to fix it. So the first thing I want to do is to like make sure the parts that are well wrapped are smooth, right? And you want to smoothen that before it hardens. That's why before I do anything like cut out the parts that is not well wrapped and try to fix it, I'm going to smoothen first. Otherwise, by the time you're done like covering up all of the imperfections, it will be too late to smooth because some parts of your fondant would have set, and if you try too hard it will have like elephant skin, and that's not what you want. Anyways, at this point, yeah, I'm just smoothing so it can be as smooth as possible, and then we're going to go ahead and fix the problem we have. So you want to take a sharp knife, yeah, or maybe something you use to cut. In my case, I use the disposable razors, and once I use them once or twice, I can throw them away and use another one, and they're very cheap and they come in packs of 10. So you can buy those, or you can use a knife. You can use a kitchen knife if you have a sharp one, or if you have like a knife sharpener at home or anything. So basically, once you're just done smoothing your cake, you've done, most of the smoothing parts, the top, the sides. The reason why you want to do all of these things, like I said initially, is that you need to do that as soon as you cover the cake in front, because that's the best time to fix any imperfection on these sides that are well covered, so that when you're ready to do the side that is not well covered, by the time you're done, because that would take you a couple of minutes, your front wouldn't have set. Anyways, I was listening to Burna Boy at this time, yeah. Anyways, so at this point you want to take your sharp knife or your sharp blade, whatever it is you're using, and you want to cut a straight line. You want to cut the parts of the fondant that is covered from the part that is covered, and then leave the part that is not. Let it like have a straight line. Yes. So now this is what we have at this point. So we're going to take the same fondant again and then roll it and then fit it in that space. But before then, I'm going to take a brush and put some fluid on it, like maybe water or fondant glue, and wet it and then put it in that, like you rub it on the part of the on the white part that is covered. I'm really enjoying myself here, yeah, because I love to listen to Burna Boy. Anyway, so we're just going to roll our fondant, yeah, make sure it's tall enough to cover that spot, and then we're going to roll it and fit it. So you guys should just watch while I do that. You're smoothing as much as possible, that's all, there you have it, and you won't be able to tell, but you have to make sure everywhere is smooth before you fix that part and you smoothing as much as possible. So this is the second part. This is the second part of the problem. So for this one, the problem with this cake was the fact that I realized that like I didn't cover it well. Sometimes when you're lifting your fondant and you're trying to for example, when you lift your fondant to put on your cake, you don't apply it well based on, you can't see every side except to turn the turntable, and sometimes you can make mistakes trying to turn the turntable. So in this case, that was what happened. It was kind of lopsided, so some parts were not covered, like the top and the bottom. This part you don't have to do patchwork like you did for the first method. This one you can just use your smoother if it's not too wide a space and smoothing over it. If it's a very wide space, I have another video on this page. I think I posted about 4 years ago, where I showed you guys how to patch if you have patches on your fondant, how not to remove the fondant completely, and how to just, you know, basically just patch the patches you have. Does that make sense? Anyway, so now I'm about to pick up my fondant and then put on my cake, and you're going to see what I'm saying. It kind of became lopsided. Notice I was trying to make the fondant taller than I said I was not going to teach, but you know, I'm kind of used to making tutorials where I'm teaching, so that kind of comes just naturally to me at this point. Anyways, I'm just trying to move the fondant, and I want you to notice the mistake I made. It was lopsided. It was lopsided from the start because the fondant was not tall enough. Usually when you want to measure the height of your fondant, you have to make sure it is taller than, notice I was kind of panicking at this point. You have to make sure it is taller than your cake so that you can have ample space on top and beneath when you finish wrapping. And I was at this point, I was already panicking because I was trying to make it fit, but I did the best I could. Anyway, so at this point, I'm just going to cut the extra fondant and try to smooth in as much as possible. And let me explain what I did at this point, yeah? Look at the bottom is uncovered and look at the side is uncovered as well. So I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to use a smoother to move my fondant to that point without doing any patchwork. So now I'm taking two smoothness and I'm just going to cover up that point before I make my cake as smooth as possible and give it sharp edges. The same thing I did to the top, I'm going to do to the bottom. Take two smoothness and pull it down, pull it up, and cover the spaces you have. That way you don't have to, you know, worry about like having patches and stuff. And you don't have to worry about removing the fondant and starting to do it all over. So cover up the spaces with your fondant. The same thing you did to the top, you're going to do to the bottom. Just, you know, move the fondant around and cover up the spaces you have. And that's all. That's about it. It's really not hard. It's very easy. Pull this one down as much as possible. Just keep pulling it down Don't try to do it all at once. Do it one bead at a time, and be careful so you don't transfer brown onto your white fondant. And that's all you have to do, guys. It's really, really easy. If it's too big, watch the other video I have. If the space is too big, watch the other video I have about patching, and you'll be able to patch the big space you have. So thank you guys for always watching my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.